Hey everybody, today I have a requested video, which is how do you spot a bootleg anime. Now this is pretty straightforward, because whenever you put a DVD into your DVD player, it will have a name, a title, or a short description there, which will pop up, and if it is a bootleg, it may say nothing, it may have anything random which is completely irrelevant to whatever you're trying to watch. But whenever you put in a legitimate version of an anime or whatever you're watching, it will have something which is relevant to what it is that you're watching, whether it's the name of the series, the name of the movie, or what season it is, what disc it is, or whatever. But whenever you load up the DVD, another way to tell if it's a bootleg is if it goes straight to the video. There's always going to be some sort of DVD menu there, and if there's not, then that's a pretty obvious sign that it's a bootleg. But some bootlegs will actually have, or a lot of bootlegs actually have, a title menu, but you can still tell with the title menu if it's of poor quality or if it doesn't have trailers. It may contain trailers for the very series that you're watching, but these series will always have trailers for other series which are licensed by the same company. That is a common practice for them to advertise their other products, so that's another sign right there. And also, if you have poor quality of the picture on your disc, that's another sign of a bootleg. It's not always the case. Some bootlegs are not that bad of quality, but sometimes you do get some pretty bad quality bootlegs. But anyways, here I have two stacks of DVDs. They are the exact same series, Shadow Skill and Dot Hack Sign. I chose them because I have the bootleg and the legitimate versions of both, and I'm going to show you them before I tell you which stack is bootleg, which stack is the legitimate copy, just so that you can see for yourself the differences beforehand. And I think it's pretty straightforward. Here we have Dot Hack Sign. Now, for me it's apparent already which one it is, even if I wasn't the one who owned it. And I think a lot of people can really spot the differences already. Some people could probably already tell which one this is. Oh, actually, I'll show you the discs as well, or just one disc, because they're all going to contain the same information, but they just look a little bit different. And moving on to the other version of Dot Hack Sign. Now, I think it'll be pretty obvious to people that are watching this which one is which, but why is it that one looks a certain way? Why is it that it's obvious that one of them is a bootleg and one of them is a retail copy? You have to think about that, and those signs are going to be apparent throughout all of the, I'll show you the DVDs here. They're going to be apparent throughout all of the series that you find in bootleg, unless they step their game up and fix their mistakes here. But it's important that I show you how to spot which one is a bootleg. Personally, I don't think bootlegging is that big of a deal anymore. The biggest issue is buying on eBay, or occasionally on Amazon you run into it. I picked up more bootleg from eBay than Amazon. I've only got one bootleg item from Amazon, maybe two, only because it was of poor quality. I'm not sure yet. I'd have to look back into it, but there was a time a long time ago when you would find stores on the internet before I knew about it. I don't even think Right Stuff, or I'm sure they might have been around, but I didn't know about them because I was just coming into anime and buying anime, and I'd always see these other sites that had the same exact series, but they were a lot cheaper, and that's how I ended up with all these bootlegs. I didn't know the difference, and I can't be blamed for that, honestly, but nobody intentionally buys bootlegs unless it's of things that aren't available in their country and they can't really import it. That just means it needs to be licensed. Alright. Now that I've shown you each stack, which stack is the retail copy and which stack is the bootleg, I'll tell you. The left stack is the retail copy, the right stack is the bootleg. Do you know why? There are some differences that you can spot. Taking a look at Dot Hack Sign, here we have Anime Legends, which is the series that this is a part of. Not all companies which license anime have a series of DVDs, but Some of them will, such as Funimation's Viridian Collection, their Save Edition, and Bandai's Anime Legends, even though they're not in the United States anymore. But aside from that, we have the Bandai logo there. We have a lot of information down here at the bottom, which is something that you don't always find on bootlegs. But there's Bandai again. Bandai again. Looking at the bootleg copy, which it's obvious that it's a bootleg because the cover is so bland. Everything's very basic. There's this company right here. I don't know what that is for, but I imagine if you were to Google it up, which is something that I recommend that you do, if you have a company on a DVD which you are unfamiliar with, just Google it. I guarantee you that's probably the company that sells, or the site that sells these bootlegs, or the people who make the fan subs or something like that, but it's not actually the company that licenses it. And on the back here, it has a very little bit of information for you to read. It really doesn't tell you anything about the same information that you have here. Now, looking at the discs don't have any logos in or anything. It has the basic copyright information that you need to have. I'm not sure why they even put that, to be honest, but the discs look very amateur. It looks like something that somebody would have printed out in their basement. It really isn't all that great. I like the disc art on some of these bootlegs, but this, especially that one right here, that one looks very amateur. And as you can see with the .hack sign quality of their DVDs, or the retail version, it's always going to be nice looking like that. You're not going to find too many bad copies, or the DVDs look pretty bad. Now, moving on to shadow scale, this is a kind of a unique thing. The retail copy of this actually used a stack pack for their DVDs, which is terrible. I don't know who in their right mind would want to use one of these, but that's what they use. But anyways, you can see the ADV logo, you can see ADV logo, you can see information about the discs. Looking at the bootleg here, there's really no logos whatsoever on the DVDs. I like the disc art here. The disc art is actually pretty good. It looks like it might be some sort of fan art, but I honestly think it's beautiful. Of course, the disc art on the retail copy looks good also. But those are some ways that you can tell. Other ways that I didn't mention are, let's take a Bastard, for example, which is the most recent experience that I had with receiving a bootleg copy. I picked this up from Amazon. Of course, it was the legitimate copy that was being sold to me, and I received this. I sent a complaint, and I got my money back, and I got to keep this. So I don't know if that's a common practice that they do with everyone, but I don't know. I think that it was handled perfectly. So you see Japanese text on the back. Nobody really does that unless you're importing, but I highly doubt. If you're importing something, you know that you're importing it. And also we have information about the DVD, which is all in Japanese as well. And of course we have this very bland, boring, and cheaply made disc cover for it. So anyways, hopefully this has helped out a few people and spotting bootlegs in anime. Let me know in the comment section below how many times you have been tricked with bootleg anime. I've been tricked with anime about maybe 8 or 9 times, and with other shows, like I have the complete series of Transformers, the Generation 1, that's bootleg. I didn't know any better about that, but a few different times I accidentally was sent a bootleg copy. But let me know what happened with you guys. Did you guys get a lot of bootleg copies of things? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.